So welcome, Wayne Olivieri of the new Bardots. Welcome to Milan virtually, and welcome to Linea Rock.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wayne, so it's grand rock and roll tonight, old school rock and roll with the new Bardots. You have that, typical firebrand of New Jersey, and you self-proclaim the band like on a mission to keep rock and roll alive, which, wow, it's actually a great statement. You definitely are a New Jersey's supergroup, a new band as such, but, featuring not, new faces, because the 5 members who have been part, of the great rock and roll scene from New Jersey have an history. How would you present, the new Bardots to those, who don't know you, who don't know the name, in brief, actually, but effectively?
I would say you kind of said it. We are a straight, no fooling around rock and roll band. We are very stripped down. Our guitar player has no pedals. He needs no boxes. He just plugs into the amp and plays the drums, bass, and a keyboard, and that's it. No gimmicks. Straight ahead rock and roll, old school. We want to bring rock and roll back. Rock and roll needs to rise again. This is what we're doing.
The name of the band is particular. Has it something to do with a certain Brigitte?
C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always admired Brigitte Bardot from when we were very little boys, and we decided to give her some honor and bring her name into it, and we had fun with it. We have a lot of fun with it.
So you have Olivieri as a surname. So you come from, you have origins, Italian origins, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Which part of Italy your family comes from?
My grandfather was from the north, and my grandmother was from the south.
Okay.
So I get both sides of Italy. Not only that, but 4 of the 5 members are all Italian in the band. You have Gar Francis, with his surname is really Venitelli. Okay. And then we have John Crute. He was also Italian. And then we have Johnny Rego with the drummer. He's also Italian. So 4 out of the 5 were Italian. We love our heritage. We love Italy. We hope to come there very soon when this virus stops. So yes, we can get back to our roots right back in Italy. We want to come and rock Italy.
Wayne, about the mask that you're wearing right now, which actually should be, in this period, should be a little bit downward. Okay. But, okay, so which is the meaning, why you're using this in the video and right now? And did you get any inspiration from bands like Slipknot or Kiss?
Yes and no. The mask was my concept, and the main reason for the mask is to bring the music to the people without having to be judged by your looks. Not that I'm hideous under the mask or anything, but I always wanted to just play music. I don't want to be judged by what we look like. That was the main reason for the mask. If you come to our live shows, we take off the masks, but we start with the masks on. But the only way to see us, we try, is to come to our live show where we take the masks off, and they get a little hot after you play a while. But that was the main reason is to bring more just the music, not the facial look. But that's not to say that our show is very theatrical. We use a lot of lights, a lot of fog, we are a very theatrical band also on stage. So the mask is just to kind of bring out the music more. But when you come see us live, you get everything.
Even as veterans, thanks, by the way, for showing your face to us. Welcome once again. Okay.
It gets hot very quickly.
Sì, esatto, perché come diceva prima, quelle maschere tengono parecchio caldo, quindi insomma anche in concerto le tolgono anche ben volentieri dopo un po'. So I was saying, even as veterans, of the New Jersey rock scene, it doesn't have to be easy, making rock in the same land as Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, and the whole Stone Pony family. We know that they are your friends, that you collaborated with them, but how did you meet them? And do you usually actually meet them, John, Bruce, and everybody else, like at the gas station or at the supermarket around New Jersey? Is it that easy? And above all, what's in the water in New Jersey, since you have a lot of artists there, a lot of talent?
Well, first of all, I haven't seen John in a long time. He's been on his rocket ship going up for a long time. But I met John when we were very young, actually, back in 1982. He was just playing in a club, and I happened to be, my girlfriend was working the bar, and I would go to see my girlfriend, and John would be on singing. Now at the Stone Pony down the street, Bruce Springsteen would be playing, and we would get done with John's, and we walked together to see Bruce Springsteen. But Bruce was already a big star.
Okay.
So me and John were friends for about 17 years. So wow. and I knew Bruce through the Stone Pony. My girlfriend was a bartender there, and I also Bruce Springsteen's wife, Patti Scalfa. Her brother was my keyboard player.
Okay.
So it was a connection that way too. So right. Years living in New Jersey, answering your question, yes, there's so much talent in New Jersey. It's very hard to break out and do it. We were lucky enough to be able to work with Jon Bon Jovi. I've been on stage with Bruce Springsteen, singing alongside of him. I knew all the guys in the band. It's almost like one big family. And I'm very lucky to be knowing, not have the worldwide success, but that being said, it does help in the local tri-area scene to know them. You automatically get more respect, but that's everywhere, I think.
Okay, so Wayne, your first album, French Kiss, came out in 2019, but on May 8th, 2020, a new EP was released, which is already being chewed, A Return to Bubblegum. We just heard a song from it. The title and the cover refers, to bubblegum rock, light, pop rock from the 60s and the 80s, one-hit wonder stuff like the Banana Splits or the Monkees, those studio projects. What I wanted to ask you is that, that EP sounds like a sort of tribute to, yes, that one on vinyl, okay, of an era, and songs, loved by the people, but hated by the critics, just like when the gum sticks under your shoe. How did you live those days, and why is it worth for you to celebrate those songs and those days with an entire EP?
Well, it was Gar's idea, our guitar player, Gar Francis. He wanted to basically take the old songs, like you said, the one-hit wonders, and make them a little bit more rocky, to present them again to the younger generation or any rockers coming up that might never have heard them before. So we thought it was a fun project. We were picking the songs, and we went through about 15 different songs before we picked the ones that we wanted to record. And then as we were recording the songs, Gar was writing a couple songs that sounded like the Bubblegum era, but newer. So we decided to put the original new Bubblegum songs on it also. So we have a cross between the old Bubblegum and the new Bubblegum. It was really a fun project that we wanted just to introduce people that never heard of it before, just wanted to get it out there again. And it came out really good between Johnny Rago on drums, John Crute on the keyboards, and Dan Sky on the bass, and Gar Francis on guitar. It it gelled really well, and we're very happy with how it turned out.
Wayne, you dig remakes. Would be an understatement to call, those songs simply covers, because you give, that personal touch to the arrangements. At this point in your career, you still compose original songs like you did on the EP. You did 2 new songs, but not having much more to prove, since you worked in the music and for the music for many years. Is it in a way much more fun for you now to play with songs rather than simply, play songs?
Absolutely. It's really gotten to the point now where, as you get more mature in your craft, it becomes more fun to do it. In other words, if you're not having fun now, why are we here? So it becomes more fun than trying, like when you're younger, you want to reach for the stars, you want to get. So now that we're at a level and we're all content with our life, it becomes much more fun, and you just play because it comes from the heart. And that's where we're at right now. We don't care much about making money. Well, you always care about making money, but not so much. We just really do it because we love it. And it's more now than it was when we were younger. When you're young, you want to be a rock star, Now that we've proven to the fact that we, in our own way where we are, it's all about the fun. Yes.
You, Wayne, with Gar, you have played together and separately in some of the most important and legendary rock clubs in the world, such, CBGBs and China Club, the Stone Pony, which we already mentioned, with absolute legends such as Jon Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen, as we already mentioned, but also Billy Idol, the Ramones, Talking Heads, Blondie, and Cyndi Lauper. How would you describe the spirit and the atmosphere that you breathed in those days at the CBGBs, for example, and, the Stone Pony? Is it once and never again feeling that, will never come back?
CBGBs was our very first real rock and roll bar when we were just teenagers. I was 16 years old, 16, 17. Gar was a couple years older than me, but we ended up getting a gig at CBGB's. I just walked in, and back then we had no idea what was happening at CBGB's. We actually were on stage at audition night. It was a Monday night. It was audition night with 5 other bands. Nobody had a record deal. Nobody was famous. And let me tell you who the bands were. It was us. We were called Rock Kids back then. There was a band called the Ramones. There was another band called the Talking Heads. There was another band called Blondie. There was another band called the Shirts, and I think there was Mink DeVille also. So that whole scene, we were just a rock and roll band, bunch of kids from New Jersey, and we were at this club. And all these, we saw the Ramones for the first time. We had no idea, what is this? It was punk. We had no idea. And we were just standing there looking at them like, are you serious? And the Talking Heads, too. They were very bad. They couldn't play their instruments very well, but there was something about them. There was something about that whole scene. And we ended up, Hilly Crystal, who owned CBGBs, liked us and continued to book us throughout that whole summer and the next summer. So we saw how it rose up into the punk scene. It was actually rock and roll history, and we were part of it. And we were right there in it with everyone else. Unfortunately, at the time, we were playing just straight ahead rock and roll, where all these other people were playing these weird kind of music to us, which ended up being, super popular. It was funny because 4 years later, we found ourselves in a copy band playing some of the music that we played with them, Ramones and the Talking Heads. We were in a club playing their songs, but we were there with them. So it was part of rock and roll history that we got a chance to be a part of. Then in 1982, I moved to Asbury Park. That's where I met Jon Bon Jovi, Southside Johnny, Bruce Springsteen, all that whole Asbury Park history. So I was very, very fortunate to be a part of 2 parts of rock and roll history. The Ramones part, the punk rock scene, and the Asbury Park scene that all came together back in the middle 80s. So I was very blessed to be around and in all that. It was very exciting. And to answer your question, no, I don't think that's going to happen again. Not for me.
Allora,
Feeling. But it's okay. It's okay.
We're in This Together was released by you, Wayne, but with the band also involved, as a free download on April 20, 2020, and it's dedicated to the front line of the COVID, a feel-good tribute, as he called it. Which feedback did you get from it? And do you think, that you can do even more? That how is the perception of the people for this kind, of benefit songs? And did you actually get what you expected from it?
Yes, my daughter is a nurse, and she's only in her second year. She's young, but I wanted to do something. A lot of musicians were doing, their home. They were staying at home and playing in front of the camera live. I particularly don't play an instrument well enough to do that myself. I can play, and I write on my piano and I write on my guitar, but I don't play and sing real good. So I asked Gar to write me something, and I wanted to give something. I wanted to do something. So I wanted to make it a feel good. It was such a horrible thing that happened to everyone. Italy, United States, everywhere. Spain. So I wanted to do something. So I wrote the song, and I decided just to give it away. If I could make one person smile, then it worked. If I could bring up the spirits of one person, then it worked. So that's why we just gave it away. It got a lot of downloads. It did very well, and it got a lot of airplay across about 100 different stations. A little, maybe 50 out of the 100 was playing it pretty much. So we did well with it, and it was something that I just kind of wanted to give back to all the frontline people. If I can make them feel happy for 3 minutes, then I'm happy.
Allora dice Wayne che sua figlia è un'infermiera e quindi nasce proprio da quello, no? Dall'aver avuto vicino una persona che combatteva in prima linea questa brutta cosa che è capitata a tutto il mondo, e dice: sentivo di dover dare qualche cosa anch'io, ma siccome non sono capace di suonare e cantare assieme, infatti i miei musicisti mi danno una mano, sì, quando compongo al piano, alla chitarra mi aiuto, però cantare e suonare assieme e farlo dignitosamente non riesco, quindi non riuscendo a fare questa cosa ho chiesto a Gar di scrivermi, anche di aiutarmi a scrivere una canzone da poter distribuire gratuitamente, anche solo per dare un sorriso, per far sentire il calore, la presenza, un senso di ringraziamento nei confronti di chi si è adoperato in prima linea per aiutarci a superare questo brutto momento. Dice: se anche solo una persona ha sorriso, io sono contento. Ma in realtà la canzone è andata molto bene, perché addirittura più di 100 radio negli Stati Uniti l'hanno passata, è stata scaricata parecchio, e quindi è contento.
Excuse me. I wanted to mention real quick that Dan Sky, our bass player, gave me free studio time in his studio. He owns a recording studio, and that's where we recorded it. So I forgot to thank Dan. He was part of it also.
Wayne, your shows have always been full of good energy. Will it ever be the same again after the pandemic? Which are your next plans, and what's the post-COVID plan for the new Bardots?
That's a very good question. It saddened me more than most that because of the pandemic, the music died. The live music died. We had booked the band throughout the summer, which all of those gigs are now gone. Live Nation, which is one of the biggest promoters of live music in the world, really, a friend of ours is involved in he's the vice president of production. They canceled every show until next year. So it hit us in the heart. But we plan on doing a couple of things for the EP. Within the next couple of weeks, we're going to announce a surprise concert. We're going to we're working on the permits now. I can't tell you where, but it's somewhere within Asbury Park. and it's going to be a surprise. Well, now that I told you it's not a surprise now, but we're trying to get the permits to do an outside show. So that was within the next few weeks to promote the EP. Now that being said, my ear to the ground, I called the Stone Pony, I called all my friends that own the clubs, and we find out what's going to happen, what's going on. Nobody seems to know yet. So I don't think it's going to be as big as, or indoors, maybe not this summer, but outdoors, I think we're going to see some live shows outdoors. Indoors, maybe not so much until next year.
Thanks very much, Wayne, for your time. And do you know any Italian words that we can, give live on the radio?
all I really know is ciao bella and grazie.
Okay.
Pizza. I'll tell you a real funny story. When I was growing up, my father, my grandfather and father, they wanted us to be American. They didn't talk Italian. I'm very mad at them for not teaching me Italian when I was little, but they used to talk Italian amongst themselves, so we wouldn't know what they were saying. So they could yell, they could talk about us kids, and we would never know. But I promise you, the next time we talk, I'm going to know a lot more Italian. I'm working on it. Keep on rocking.